This is News 25 with Deanna O'Donnell and Unette Gentry. News 25, local news you can count on. News is brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Call 727-9900 today for your free consultation. If you need a lawyer, you need Nelson.
Welcome to News 25. It's Thursday, September 3rd. I'm Deanna O'Donnell.
And I'm Unette Gentry, and we're so glad you joined us.
Well, the Pahrump bars are to remain closed. It's not the news that Pahrump bar owners were hoping to hear. Nevada's COVID-19 Mitigation and Management Task Force has decided local bars will remain closed for at least another 2 weeks. At the weekly task force meeting today, Nye County presented a proposal to allow the reopening of bars and other liquor establishments here in Pahrump. Bars in rural areas of the county outside of Pahrump were cleared to reopen at the August 20th meeting. It's an action plan presented to the task force. The county points out that bars and other liquor establishments here in rural areas of Nye County have been reopened for almost 2 weeks with no showing of an overall increase in COVID cases or any cases attributable to those establishments. Nye County officials say since the start of the pandemic, there have been no COVID cases attributable to bars or other liquor establishments. And county officials point out that there has been a decline in COVID cases in Nye County during the last several weeks. In the end, it wasn't enough to sway the decision of the COVID-19 task force, whose members voted to keep Pahrump bars closed. The task force will reconsider the reopening plan in 2 weeks. Bars that do not serve food will remain closed in Clark County. However, the COVID-19 task force did vote to allow countertops in non-bar establishments to reopen on September 9th. Well, a local woman was arrested by police for trespassing after she returned to a convenience store here in Pahrump who was not able to serve her unless she wore a face covering.
On August 24th, Nye County Sheriff's Office was dispatched to the Rebel store on Highway 160. The complaint was regarding a female that had entered the store without a mask and was asked to leave. Employees made several attempts to get her to leave, but she refused. When the officer arrived, he located Alyssa Goldstein sitting in the walkway to the store. Goldstein was acting very erratic, yelling and cursing, wanting to let her go back into the store. The officer explained that she could not enter the store without a mask. The reporting employee asked that Goldstein be trespassed from the property. The officer read Goldstein the trespass admonishment, and she became upset and left the property. Officers were contacted the next day by a clerk at the Rebel store who stated that Goldstein was inside the store helping herself to a soda. The clerk attempted to engage Goldstein in conversation, but she would not listen. When NCSO arrived, they located Goldstein sitting at a gaming machine inside the business. It was explained to Goldstein that she had been trespassed earlier, and she acknowledged that fact. Goldstein was placed in wrist restraints and transported to NCDC. She was booked without incident and charged with trespass not amounting to burglary.
Also arrested, a man who police say was intoxicated and forced himself on his partner who refused to have sex with him.
The Nye County Sheriff's Office was dispatched to a Pahrump residence on August 20th in reference to a domestic battery between a married couple. When the officer arrived, the victim stated that the suspect, identified as Michael Hastings, became physically aggressive with her because she would not do what he wanted her to do. She also stated that Hastings had been drinking. Hastings grabbed the victim's legs, crossed them, and pinned them against her chest as he proceeded to sexually assault her and then strangle her. The victim said she could not breathe but does not believe that she lost consciousness. Hastings became frustrated and punched the victim in the thigh and chest multiple times. As the victim attempted to fight Hastings off, he grabbed her wrists and pinned them above her head to prevent her from defending herself. Hastings grabbed her by the hair and punched her in the head. The officer observed bruising on the victim that was consistent with her statement. Hastings allegedly admitted to punching the victim in the thigh. He was read his rights and arrested. Hastings was arrested and charged with domestic battery with strangulation. Hastings was transported to NCDC.
All right, when we return, we'll tell you if another round of federal stimulus funds might be heading our way.
You're watching News 25, the most recognized and farthest reaching local news in Nye County. News 25, local news you can count on.
Welcome back to News 25. Well, the Fed is urging Washington to come up with another round of economic stimulus. Ford is cutting more than 1,000 white-collar jobs, and DraftKings is making a big bet on Michael Jordan. Angela Miles has all that and more in your financial news.
Here's Angela Miles with today's Business First Brief.
Topping our news, Federal Reserve officials say continued uncertainty and volatility related to the pandemic are having a negative effect on consumers and business activity. The Fed's Beige Book also shows some companies are turning temporary furloughs into permanent layoffs. In a rare move, the central bank is urging Washington to come up with another round of stimulus for the economy. Ford plans to cut 1,400 white-collar jobs. The automaker calls it a cost savings move. Salaried workers at Ford eligible for retirement will be offered early retirement. Car sales improved in August from the 15% decline in July, but are down 11% compared to last August. And DraftKings is making a big bet. Basketball legend Michael Jordan will take an ownership stake in the DraftKings. He will become a special advisor to the sports betting site.
To find out where you can see us every day, go to businessfirstam.com.
Thanks, Angela. Well, the Nye County District Attorney's Office has given an update of cases that are currently in the Pahrump Justice Court this week. The court has been closed to the public and media because of COVID-19. DA Chris Arabia gives us this report.
I'm Missy Kohler with your court report. Vicky Bockley, who was arrested at a home on Pahrump's South Side in February, along with Eric Garcia, Mickey Cagle, and Danny Hicks, is facing additional charges, according to the Nye County DA's office. Bockley is now facing charges of 2 counts of solicitation to commit murder. The criminal complaint says that Bockley did counsel, hire, command, or otherwise solicit another to commit murder. Nye County Sheriff's Office police reportedly located messages between Bockley and at least 2 people to allegedly murder a person named Matthew Aver, who is related to the child victims in the case. Bockley, Garcia, Cagle, and Hicks were all arrested after an investigation into allegations made by a DCFS social worker who was alerted to the possible crime by the children's medical doctor following a doctor's visit. The investigation led to 24 charges against the 4 that included incest, child abuse and lewdness with a child under 14, sexual assault, bestiality, and possession of child pornography and distribution of pornography with a minor. The details of the alleged crimes are heinous and include allegations that the 4 individuals took part in the abuse, which includes the family dog. Bockley is reportedly a mother to one of the children and grandmother to the other 2 child victims. Defendant Eric Garcia is expected to plead guilty on lewdness with a child under 14 and unlawful use of a minor under 14 in the production of pornography. He will be sentenced on October 5th in district court, and each of the charges carries 10 years to life sentences. The prosecution will ask for the maximum. Bockley, Cagle, and Hicks cases were bound over this week in Justice Court after a lengthy hearing that took 2 full days and into the evening hours. Only one charge for suspect Mickey Cagle was not bound over to district court. That is the charge of sexual assault of a child under the age of 14. The suspect's next court date will be September 21st. Nicholas Von Altz was in Justice Court today to face charges related to a death of a man that occurred earlier this year. Von Altz was charged with open murder, attempted robbery with a deadly weapon, battery with intent to commit robbery with a deadly weapon, and 2 counts of assault with a deadly weapon in connection with an incident that occurred in the early morning hours of June 24th. Von Altz, along with Kyle Bickerstaff, were accused of partnering to steal a pistol from a person at gunpoint. During the execution of the crime, Bickerstaff was shot and killed by the male juvenile victim that the pair were allegedly trying to rob. The Nye County Sheriff's Office declaration of arrest states that Von Altz and his accomplice Bickerstaff went to a male juvenile's home, who then met them at the car with the idea that they were going to purchase a gun from him. Instead, they pointed a weapon at the subject and then began to pistol whip him. They wrestled for the weapon. The male was able to retain the gun and fired a round which struck Bickerstaff, killing him. Based on Nevada's felony murder rule, a person can be charged with murder if, while commencing an armed robbery, someone is killed. Von Altz himself was shot a few months earlier in some type of road rage incident on Highway 372. The suspect was never revealed or charged in that case. Nicholas Von Altz's case was bound over to district court. His next hearing will be October 5th in district court before the Honorable Judge Robert Lane. I'm Missy Kohler, and that's been your court report.
Thanks so much, Missy. And at the Nye County Board of Commissioners meeting earlier this week, commissioners approved acceptance of several assistance grants to help the community.
Among those approved were grants to provide emergency financial assistance and meals to Ryan White Part A recipients from Clark County. This grant was in the amount of $45,015 and provides assistance for HIV/AIDS residents of Nye County that have been affected by COVID-19. The board approved the acceptance of a grant from the Rural Community Assistance Corporation in the amount of $16,000 to deliver rental assistance to the low and very low income households in need of temporary rental assistance due to COVID-19. Also approved was the acceptance of the Federal Aviation Administration Airport Improvement Plan grant. The award is for the Tonopah Airport in the amount of $105,000 to reconstruct the airport beacon. The commissioners found no need to deliberate or discuss the importance of these grants for the community, and they were approved without hesitation.
Assistance during this ongoing pandemic. Will tell you where to go to get that funding right after this break.
News 25, brought to you by Mountain West Lawyer, Injury Attorneys, 727-9500. News 25, local news you can count on.
Welcome back. Well, Nevadans who experience job loss, change in income, or loss of insurance should look to Nevada HealthLink to enroll in coverage. The Silver State Health Insurance Exchange, Nevada's state agency that helps individuals secure affordable health coverage through the online state exchange-based platform, Nevada HealthLink reminds uninsured Nevadans that they may qualify for a special enrollment period if they have a qualifying life event, allowing them to enroll anytime during the year outside of the normal open enrollment window. Consumers who recently lost their job or had a change in income may also be eligible to receive more subsidy assistance to help pay for their health plans, and therefore should contact Nevada HealthLink rather than canceling their health insurance plans. For more information, go to nevadahealthlink.com. Well, we are all feeling the emotional strain of the pandemic. A new survey shows men in particular are stressed. Erica Foreman has more on how guys are coping with COVID.
COVID-19 has taken a mental toll on all of us. Now, a Cleveland Clinic survey shows 77% of men say they've been negatively impacted by the pandemic.
Their stress levels have increased, and half of those admitting this has taken an emotional and a mental toll.
Results show 59% of men surveyed feel isolated, while others are struggling to stay healthy, with a quarter reporting weight gain and about half avoiding the doctor.
You're going to find people responding in what we would consider unreasonable ways, where everybody's shaking their head and saying, what's going on with people? Well, they're at their peak stress.
According to the survey, 66% of guys don't talk about the stress they're feeling.
Men, you're not alone. Admit that you're having struggles, either to your loved ones or close friends, and finding people that you can share some of these stresses with is going to be important.
On the flip side, 45% say the pandemic has actually improved their health.
Some of them have actually been able to make the lemonade out of the lemons. They're finding ways to exercise and relieve some of that stress.
The survey shows 28% of men are sleeping more and 19% are eating healthier. Inspiration for all of us.
There are people that are living through this era that are actually doing better. They're connecting better with their families. They're taking time out and either going for walks or runs or enjoying life a little bit more when they don't have to deal with the hustle and bustle of everyday life as it used to be. And I think if we can all kind of role model that, just find some daily joy, I think we'll be able to get through this a little bit easier.
At Cleveland Clinic, I'm Erica Foreman.
Bam! And the survey discussed in that story says that more than half of men do not expect this pandemic to be over anytime soon. But the majority of respondents did say that they do still feel optimistic about the future. And in other news, is your computer doing things a bit more sluggish? Well, Josh Osborne is telling us whether or not it's time for you to purchase a new computer.
Hi, it's Josh with Pahrump Zone Great Computer Deals. Let's get right into it. It's time for another quick tutorial. How do I know it's time to buy a new computer? Well, here's one sign. You can no longer run the programs you want because your PC specs are not powerful enough. The first PC I ever bought, the salesman told me, "You'll never need anything larger than this." Well, unfortunately, that is never the case. All computers become inadequate at some point. If you're struggling to run the latest programs you use for office, financial, graphic design, music, or gaming, it's probably time to look into upgrading for probably way cheaper than you think. If you're in the market for an updated computer, come down to our store for some friendly advice and we can help you with your next step. Why trust a technician when you can trust a friend? Great Computer Deals is located at 1190 East Highway 372. Call us at 775-990-8833.
News 25 WeatherCam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
Hey, good evening, Nevada. It's John Kohler from the KPVM Weather Studios. No, wait, I'm actually here at Lake Mead. Maybe you're heading to Lake Mead this weekend. Well, let me tell you about a couple things that are closed for Lake Mead. Maybe help you plan your action down there a little bit. The Lake Mead Visitor Center is closed for the weekend. Park headquarters in Boulder City also closed at Lake Mead. And Saddle Cove, closed. Sadly, the Gold Strike Canyon is also closed, but still, there's a lake. There's water. You can do some fishing, beat the heat. It'll feel good. We'll tell you about the heat you're going to be beating when we return.
News 25 weather is brought to you by Dairy Council of Nevada. The splash of cream in your coffee, the dollop of sour cream on your burrito, the melted toasty cheese on your pizza. Undeniably delicious, undeniably dairy. Enjoy what's real.
Hi, good evening, Nevada. It's John Kohler from the KPVM Weather Studios with all your weather highlights and stuff going on. It's feverish in Fernley this evening. 99 degrees is your high, 62 down for a low. In Fallon, let's call it fiery. 100 degrees was your temperature high today, and 59 will be your low tonight. That sounds pretty good. Carson City, a little stuffy up there. 97 degrees is your high, 59 degrees for your low. In Tonopah, they're feeling parched today. It's 95 degrees as a high and 61 for a low. Goldfield, a little tropical. Not too bad, 97 degrees as your high today and 61 for a low. Johnny spent some time with the thesaurus this afternoon, can you tell? In Beatty, let's call it baking. Yes, 105 is your temperature for a high today in Beatty, 70 degrees for a low. In Amargosa, I'm going to have to go with just as many syllables. Let's call it thermogenic. Amargosa, 109 is your high today, and that is pretty thermogenic. 73 for a low tonight. In Las Vegas, let's call it smoking. A smoking 109 degrees. That's not even a joke. Clark County DES sent over a warning for people that are sensitive to ozone. Not only is it ozony because of the the heat and the pavement and everything, but there's also the smoke drifting over from California and coming into Las Vegas. It's still out there. So be careful with that if you're in these at-risk groups in Las Vegas and in Clark County. 109 degrees is pretty hot, and then smoky on top, yuck. All right, out in Death Valley, let's just call it searing. 118 degrees is your high today, 87 degrees for a low. Let's head on over to our local weather here, and I'm told here in Pahrump, we call this sweltering at 106 degrees and humidity at 9%. I usually associate swelter with a higher degree of humidity, but I'm going to go with it. Wind southwest at 7 miles per hour. And sunrise this morning, 6:17. It was just barely brighter than the moon set, because the moon was just up in the sky bigger than anything, like a big old pie plate up there. What are we looking forward to tonight? Let's see, 106 tonight. As we head on towards the evening, it'll cool down to about 76. That sounds pretty good. Winds out of the east, 5 miles an hour, 13% humidity. And the sunset tonight at 7:07 p.m. Perfect. What a perfect day. Let's take a look at the extended weather. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, of course, they've got that excessive heat warning extending through Monday, 110-degree temperatures all the way through Monday before it cools off. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, dipping down 95, 89, and 94 for highs. And the lows will stay, well, we don't get a lot of relief, do we? Look at this, 78, 80, 79 degrees, 76. Maybe later in the week, 61, 66, 69, we'll get some relief, and that'll feel good. All right, well, that's your weather report from the KPVM Weather Studios. I am John Kohler. Thanks.
Thanks so much, John. And it was John's birthday. We did a little birthday party for him.
Happy birthday.
2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear John. Happy birthday to you. and many more.
This is so excellent. Hot enough to melt a cake.
Yeah. Better than ice cream when we have for Vern's birthday. Yep.
Happy birthday once again, John. And there was another birthday in August.
Someone a lot younger.
Yeah.
No offense, John.
I think it's August 3rd, and we're going to take a look at her right now. We've been waiting forever to show you little Melody Rose, and that is Melody Rose. That's Emily's and Ubaldo's baby girl. She's beautiful. She's live here in the studio. Hi, Melody.
So adorable. She kicked her binky out to say hello.
She did. She's saying hi. She's so beautiful.
Hi.
Just love that baby. And thanks so much to Emily for bringing her in today. We just love her so much. And you see that she was in a car seat.
That's right. Safety first.
And so the car seat safety check is this weekend. They have it down there at Front Valley Auto Plaza. So if you need a car seat, you should go down to Front Valley Auto Plaza. It begins at 9 a.m. and you can get your car seats checked. You can get a free car seat.
Yeah.
It's all being put on by the Nevada Department of Public Safety, Nye County Sheriff's Office, Nevada Highway Patrol, and so many other organizations doing that. Go Front Valley Auto Plaza right there on Charleston Park. And I just love Emily. She's, I mean, I love Emily.
Yes,
and I love
and
Ubaldo. And Melody.
Yes.
The baby.
Yes.
Thanks for bringing her in. That's going to wrap up this edition of News 25. I'm Deanna O'Donnell.
And I'm Unette Gentry. And thanks so much for joining us. And please have a healthy and hydrated Labor Day weekend.